Hai. Assalamualaikum semua. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Sihat. Saya dah okey, dah boleh. Dah boleh dah. Boleh dah.
Kita sekejap lagi, okay?
1, 2, 3. Action. Dah.
Hello, Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone. Okay, so I'm your MC for this evening for our budget talk event. And I'm excited to be here as we dive into our topic today. Before we begin, let's give a warm applause to our guests and our audience. So today we'll be exploring about the key drivers of Malaysia's sustainable agenda and energy transition, follow up with the tax incentive based on budget 2024. And then we'll have presentations for our expert guests, followed by a Q&A session where you can engage and have your question answered. Now, without further ado, let's give the floor to our first speaker, which is Hazlina Razin, which is a student from Unit 10, to talk about the key drivers of sustainable agenda and energy transition.
Thank you to MC. So today I'm going to talk about the key drivers of Malaysia's sustainable agenda and energy transition. So as you know, Malaysia and Energy Matters Action Nation is actively pursuing a sustainable development agenda with a strong focus on energy transition. So the shift towards a greener future is driven by several key factors. So we have 4 key drivers of Malaysia's sustainable agenda and energy transition. So the first is toward net zero carbon emission, which the government is establishing a national energy transition facility with 2 billion seed fund along with 200 million in financing from financial institutions to promote the transition of a low carbon economy and achieve 70% renewable energy capacity target by 2050. Okay, so next, initiative include continued support for the corporate green power program under the third party access model, boosting the local electric vehicles industry with incentive and acquiring about 150 electric buses for LRT3 project supported by extended tech released on electric vehicles charging facilities and rental costs. Okay, secondly, about the preservation of natural treasures, which means the government is increasing support for biodiversity conservation, allocating about 200 million for the ecological fiscal transfer, doubling the number of community rangers to 2,000 and allocating about 60 million to acquire rangers among armed forces veterans or asli and local communities. Additionally, about 10 million is allocated to assist those affected by human-wildlife conflicts. Okay, next, the federal government plans to issue a biodiversity sukuk of up to 1 billion to fund forest replantation, efforts generating carbon credits, collaborating with state governments. Other than that, the government offers a deduction for preservation activities and extend tax exemption on income for social enterprise until 2025. Which encouraging private sector participation in environmental pilot verified by Forest Research Institute Malaysia. Okay, so thirdly is disaster management readiness. So the 12 Malaysia plans allocated about 22 billion for flood mitigation project with focus of 33 high priority flood mitigation project that costing about 11.8 billion. So the government emphasised transparent standard-based procurement to prevent the wastage of public funds. Therefore, to address floods and landslide risk, letter of acceptance for 24 projects worth about 5.1 billion are expected to be issued by October 2023. And an additional 20 million is allocated for repairing damaged sewers and drains. So the government has earmarked about 5,063 ringgit for nationwide slump repair, monitoring, prevention, and early warning programs. Okay, so the last one is food security. So the disruption in the global flood supply chains has led to increased rice prices in Malaysia due to export restriction by 19 countries. So the government has implemented urgent measures including raising the paddy price, subsidy scheme and setting a new purchase price floor of 1,300 ringgit per metric ton to support farmer. The last is the second Belanjawan Madani allocated about 2.6 billion for subsidies and incentive to enhance the agro-food industries, productivity and resilience, including a pilot effort for 5 seasons in 2 years paddy cultivation and an increased allocation for hill paddy subsidies to expand planting areas. So that's all the 4 key drivers of Malaysia's sustainable agenda and energy transition.
Alright. Okay, thank you Hazlina for explaining your insightful presentations about the 4 key drivers. Now I would like to invite our second guest, which is Anis Arina, to talk about the tax incentive on sustainable agenda and energy transition.
Thank you for inviting me for today. So next we continue with our point for today, which is about tax incentive in Budget Talk 2024. So next, for Budget 2024, introduce several tax incentives to promote a Malaysia's sustainable agenda and energy transition. Here are some key figures with prompts for further exploration. So first is renewable energy and energy efficiency. The first point is extension of green technology incentive. Means that analyze the impact of the extending this incentive. So for example, like solar, biomass or mini hydro. So until 2026. Assess if this time frame is sufficient and explore potential refinements for inclusivity of emerging technologies like green hydrogen. So for the next point is net energy metric or NEM extension, which means that it is for evaluate the effectiveness of NEM extension until 2024 and consider additional incentive for grid integration and storage solutions. For our second main point in tax incentive for budget 2024 is for electric vehicles. So our income tax exemption for electric vehicles is charging facilities and expenses is to investigate the uptake of the incentive and its impacts of EV adoption. Compare this approach with potential direct subsidies for vehicles purchases. Next is tax deduction for EV rental costs. Evaluate the effectiveness of this incentive in promoting EV accessibility and consider expanding it to cover charging infrastructure costs. For our third main point in our topic is carbon management and sustainable finance. So the point is first is new incentive for carbon capture and storage, CCS and hydrogen sulfide projects. So which means is assess the attractiveness of this incentive and suggest potential adjustments based on industry's feedback and project viability. Tax exemption for SRI, or we call it sustainable responsible investment, fund management and tax deduction for SRI, sukuk issuance. So it is for analyze the impact of these measures on attracting investments towards sustainable projects and explore complementary incentive for green bonds and other sustainable financial instruments. Okay, the last one is additional tax deduction for MRV expenses in carbon credit projects, which means to evaluate the effectiveness of this incentive in boosting participation in the carbon market and consider expanding it to include other sustainability initiatives. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you to our guest, which is Anis Arina, for explaining about the tax incentive aimed at promoting sustainable agenda and energy transition. Okay, next we'll be go on with our next point for today. The last point, which is to discuss the social and economic implications of tax incentive on the standard of the living. Okay. So I would like to our guest, which is Hazlina Razin, to explain about positive impact of the tax incentive, and Anis Arina about the potential challenges and mitigation strategies.
The positive impacts of the tax incentive for sustainable agenda and energy transition in Malaysia is firstly is the environmental benefits. So by encouraging investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency, this incentive can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve air quality. So this can lead to better health outcomes and more sustainable future for generation to come. The second positive impact is increased awareness and adoption. So this incentive can raise public awareness about sustainability and encourage individual adoption of eco-friendly practices. So this can create a broader social movement and towards a more sustainable lifestyle. Okay, so that's a few positive effects of that incentive for sustainable agenda and energy transition in Malaysia that I can provide to you.
So next is potential challenges and mitigation strategies. So the first point is the distribution of benefits. Not everyone may benefit equally from this incentive. So there's are risks that large corporation benefits more than small business or individuals. So to mitigate this, the government can introduce target incentive and support programs for smaller players. Next is skills gaps. For the skills gaps, the shift towards green industries may require new skills and training for the workforce. So the government and private sector need to invest in the training programs and ensure a smooth transition for workers. That's all from me. So we continue with our MC for our closing mandi.
Thank you to all our speakers, both of you, for your insightful explanations. As we bring this session to a close, so I want to thank all of you for joining us today. The Budget Talk is a crucial document that shapes our future, and I hope that discussion has provided you with valuable information and perspective. So that's all from us. Thank you.
See you.